right, making sure that's okay. So I make sure everything else is good. Just making sure that's the case. Yeah. All right. Ah, man. Let's get it started in here. Let me do a couple things before we get started. Hi, Vay. Let me see. Okay, I can do that, and then oh man. Okay, here we go. And I'm waiting for that Kingdom chapter to come out. I'm waiting for the new arc to start. Alright. Excited for that Kingdom chapter. Next week's One Piece chapter from the Be Crazy 2. Yeah, I'm ready for some things. But anyway, we ain't here to focus on that. Alright. I think we are set up. Should watch something tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna watch. I can read some stuff probably. Read a manga, chill out for the night. Take my attention away from football. Knowing how things are gonna go. Anywho, let's get it started because we're gonna be here for not that long. I say not that long, and then we're here for 2 hours. I have no idea how long we're gonna be here. Because in all honesty, we don't exactly know where this is gonna go. Well, let's get things going. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Ravens flock. Man, it's time. It is time. Ravens flock, it is time. It's time for the Ravens to begin. It's time to begin the process. It's time for the Ravens to embark on their journey. And I cannot lie to you, man. This season is going to be a lot. I don't know how this season's going to start. I don't know how this season's going to end. But I'm here for the journey through and through, just like you guys are here for the journey. And we'll see how things ultimately end. The Ravens begin their journey heading into one of, if not the most pressured seasons in franchise history. I cannot remember a time where I saw a multitude of fans and media putting this amount of pressure on the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Not only that, I don't think there's ever been a time in franchise history where I've seen this many people in the media picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. And it's crazy. Lamar is favored to win MVP. He's one of the top candidates to win MVP. The Ravens are heavily favored to win the AFC North. They're one of the main, if not the main team that's favored to win the AFC in general. They're also favored to win the Super Bowl. Well, one of the main individuals to win the Super Bowl, because there's a few teams that are kind of like tied. Like I think the Ravens are Eagles are tied right now when it comes to Super Bowl odds. But it's crazy. I've been watching the Ravens and following this team since 2004, and I don't ever remember a time where the Ravens have been talked about this much when it comes to Super Bowl. So many pundits are picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Everyone is sitting there saying, this is the Ravens' year. I'm going with the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Everyone is taking a look at this team. They're looking at the roster, the amount of talent that's assembled, And everyone's sitting back and saying, this is the year. Lamar's going to get his ring. The Ravens are going to win a championship. And everyone's going to be solidified. I don't remember ever seeing a year like this. We have 2 championships in franchise history. And in both those Super Bowl years, we were not seen as any level of favorites to win anything. I mean, heading into 2000, we weren't even really seen as a team that was going to make the playoffs for the most part. And, that defense was legendary as the season went on. You saw how legendary that defense was. But the offense was so putrid, they went like 6 or 7 games without scoring a touchdown. So no one sat back and said, oh, the 2000 Ravens are favored heading into the playoffs. People thought they'd get knocked out at some point because they felt that a high-octane offense, like a team like the Raiders, they felt would definitely be able to win against us. So legitimately, it's, that situation turned out to be spectacular for us, but legitimately, we weren't expected to do anything. We weren't expected to do anything in the playoffs. We weren't. And yet the 2000 Ravens solidified themselves as one of the greatest defenses of all time because of how they played throughout that run. And the Ravens ultimately won a championship despite having a putrid offense for pretty much the entire season. And even in the playoffs, the offense wasn't spectacular. They just did what they needed to do. The defense really carried. But the Ravens weren't talked about as this Super Bowl team in 2000. The same can be said for 2012. The 2012 Ravens weren't viewed as a legitimate Super Bowl contending team. Hell, there's only been 2 years where you looked at the Ravens and felt that they, or at least media sat back and said they might be able to do something in the playoffs. 06 with Steve McNair, and then 2011 because of how things ultimately turned out. We ended up getting a top 2 seed in the AFC that year. So you take a look at how 06 happened. We lost the Colts in a game where the 06 defense, which again would have had a very strong case to be considered better than the 2000 defense if they would have been able to go far in the playoffs. But they held Peyton Manning in that high octane offense to 6 field goals, and we just couldn't do anything. Steve McNair was dealing with injuries throughout the season, and by the time we got to the playoffs, he was just done, and it showed. He had an awful game there. He was hurt and just dealing with the injuries, and he just had nothing left. So that's how 06 went, and then in 2011. Because of how things ultimately turned out as the year went on. Hell, we went to Pittsburgh and finally beat the Steelers at Heinz Field. So doing that and then, being a top 2 seed and ultimately getting to the AFC Championship game only to suffer a heartbreaking loss to the New England Patriots because Lee Evans forgot how to hold on to a football and Billy Cundiff forgot how to kick a football. You end up going home. So the following year in 2012, we weren't seen as a team that was going to get back to the AFC Championship game and get things together. Peyton Manning was doing his thing in Denver, and that looked like the team to beat. It was supposed to be another iteration of Brady versus Manning in the AFC Championship game. We kind of just spoiled that because we had a magical run to the Super Bowl. So what I'm basically saying here is the Ravens have never been in a situation where they've been favored this much. Pundits aren't coming out here and picking us to win the Super Bowl. That's not something that normally happens for this franchise. It's the first time I've seen this many pundits and experts and all these analysts sitting back and talk about how the Ravens are the team to beat this year. The Ravens are the team that's going to win the Super Bowl. This is the year they get over the hump. They're putting all this pressure early on. It's crazy to see. But that's the reality of the situation. And the Ravens know this. This isn't something that's a surprise. It isn't something that is shocking. This is essentially what they've been hearing all offseason. People criticizing them for the playoff woes, talking about the amount of talent they have, and how they should be able to get it done at this point. They keep coming up short. But here we are again, and the media is at an all-time high with picking the Ravens. I've never seen this before. So we head into a season where we've got the most pressure put on us because everyone's saying it's now or never, Super Bowl or bust, which again, that's been a conversation for the Ravens over the last few years, Super Bowl or bust. But people are heavily pressing that this year because they're taking us. Previous years, you were seeing a majority of people take the Bills. Of course, you pick the Chiefs. But this year, so many people are picking the Ravens to win. And that's the scary part. But that's the reality of the situation. Baltimore has an immense amount of pressure on them to deliver a title this year. Anything less than that, the home media is going to smoke this team out. And even the fan base may smoke them out heavily. There's so much pressure on this team to deliver this year. And you can't blame them when you look at the way this team's been assembled and the roster they have. Again, you're looking at Lamar Jackson, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs in the game. It's basically between him and Saquon at this point, who's the best running back in the league. You still got Justice Hill, who's a reliable guy, both in the rush and in the receiving game. You get back Keaton Mitchell, so that's another weapon to add to your offense. You've got Zay Flowers, you've got Rashad Bateman, you added DeAndre Hopkins, so that is an upgrade from Nelson Aguilar. So you improved your offense. You still got Isaiah Likely there, of course, but you improved your offense. Your weapons are at the best it's ever been in the Lamar Jackson era. The offense is at an all-time high. Lamar himself said this is the most talented team, or this is the best team I've ever, been a part of. So the pressure is there. And then you look defensively, if they stay healthy, that might just be the best secondary in football. Easily. If those guys can stay healthy, and that's a huge if they stay healthy, the Ravens could have the best secondary in football. They're already one of the best one of the best rush defenses in the league. And they do a great job in being able to create sacks and just get to the quarterback. They're not great at pressuring the quarterback, but they are great in being able to create sacks. So this defense is expected to be one of the best in the league by far. So you're going to have one of the best defense in the league, or at least that's the expectation. You're expected to have one of the best offenses in the league, which is probably going to be the case because you went crazy last year and you were a top 3 offense. You were one of 3 teams to score 30-plus points a game, or to average 30-plus points a game in a season. We were one of 3 teams to do that last year. The expectations are all there for the Ravens to go out and win this thing. The roster's there, the talent's there. You have everything you need to win. You're looking at the secondary where you're going to have Jair Alexander and Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton and Nate Wiggins, and you have Chidobe Awuzie. You got all that talent in the secondary. You got all of this, man. You got all of this, man. It's crazy to see the amount of talent the Ravens have and the amount of pressure that's put on them. So as they begin to embark on this journey, they need to be able to understand what's at stake. And we all, as a fan base, needs to know what's at stake. The media has chosen to pick us to win the Super Bowl. That's been the majority of a lot of pundits' picks. So when I'm looking at this, man, I can't lie to you, bro. I cannot lie to you. This year feels like our reputation's on the line. I don't think I'm the only one to feel that way. Maybe you guys feel differently, but just with the way everything's been going in regards to the Ravens, the amount of talent they have, and how everybody's been talking about them and picking them to go to the Super Bowl, their reputation is on the line this year. I'm not gonna lie, their reputation is absolutely on the line this year. If you can't get it done this year, I think the way people are going to look at this franchise moving forward is going to be problematic. I truly feel that this year is the year where the Ravens' reputation's on the line. And I think everybody's legacy will ultimately be affected by whatever happens this year. If we, do handle our business in the regular season, win the division, and then we go and head to the playoffs, and it's the same story with Baltimore again, that's just going to be the legacy that's here. Lamar's legacy will be impacted by that. John Harbaugh's legacy as a coach, which no one wants to talk about, this is going to heavily impact it. A lot of aspect that is going to be impactful. A lot of aspects of this franchise that's going to be impactful if the Ravens aren't able to get it done this year, because I feel like our reputation definitely has to be on the line, because they constantly talk about how we're one of the best run organizations in the league. We have one of the best coaches in the league, one of the best quarterbacks. The way they talk about us, you have to be able to put it together at some point. And when your quarterback is asked, is this the best team he's ever been on? And he confirms yes. And you've got all this pressure on the team, and all the pundits are picking this team to win the Super Bowl. And they're talking about the immense amount of talent because your secondary is filled with first round picks. You've got talent all over the place. There's no major Now, there's weaknesses within this team, within this roster that we could point to. Obviously, there's no roster that's perfect. Philadelphia has the best roster in football. There's still elements of weaknesses there. Detroit has elements of weaknesses there. Baltimore does too. But when we talk about a major weakness, there's nothing so major that you look at this and say, this is going to cost them the season. No, there's no major weakness. There's minor weaknesses, but that's usually what you're going to get with every team. So when you look at this roster, you look at this team, you look at the talent they have, you look at the expectations that's been placed on them, you look at the pressure that's placed on them, you got to look at the Ravens and understand that this is a reputation thing now. Because if we can't get over the hump, we're just going to be known as regular season merchants. And that's just who we are going to be. There will be no discussions. There will be no arguments. None of that is going to matter. The way we look at the Ravens will forever be impacted. And for an organization that's won 2 rings with less talent than what they have right now, if you can't get it done with this roster, with that quarterback, with this coach, with this amount of talent, then yes, the way we judge you as an organization, the way we judge you as a football team will be highly affected. It doesn't mean they won't still be viewed as one of the best run organizations in the league, or one of the best quarterbacks, and one of the best coaches. All that's going to be there. But when we start talking about the legacy of players, the legacies of coaches, the legacies of these franchises, this will be a conversation that is placed there. It was a conversation that was there with the Colts until they finally broke through with Peyton Manning in 06. So you just sit there and you just understand that we're heading into an exciting season. In less than 24 hours, we will be playing the Buffalo Bills at Buffalo. It's going to be a fantastic game. But we have to understand that this is the reality of the situation. The pressure is on us unlike any other season. And if this team can't deliver it, the way they're going to look at Lamar Jackson, the way they're going to look at John Harbaugh, the way they're going to look at this organization moving forward will be heavily impacted. Now, of course, with Lamar, again, all it takes is one great year and one championship run, and all of that is forgiven. Despite the many failures we saw at times in the postseason with Peyton Manning, he won 2 rings, so all is forgiven. Even if he wasn't the best in those Super Bowl runs, he won 2 rings. All is forgiven. Aaron Rodgers has been relatively poor in the playoffs, but he won a championship in 2010, so people don't talk about those failures. But when you fail to win a championship, that is going to be brought up. And when you look at an organization like this, like I said, we've won Super Bowls with less talent than what we have right now. If we can't get it done, the way we're going to be viewed moving forward, the way our quarterback's going to be viewed, our head coach is going to be viewed, this organization as a whole is going to be viewed, it's going to be highly affected. If we go back to the postseason and we lose again in January and we beat ourselves again, yeah, our reputation will be heavily impacted by this. So yeah, as the Ravens embark on this journey, it's good to understand what type of pressure that's put on them, and you hope as a Ravens fan that they are able to respond, because if they are able to respond, we're winning the whole damn thing. If not, I don't know what to say. If not, I don't know what to say. And you even see some people trying to put the whole aspect of leniency, like, well, at least if they make the Super Bowl, still fine. But with the way they're talking about the Ravens, if they don't win this whole thing, it's just not going to be a good look all around. So yeah, I think that's an aspect that I really wanted to talk with you guys tonight, because we have to be aware of these circumstances. And as we get ready for Sunday night, less than 24 hours away, it's just, we have to be aware of this journey that the Ravens are getting ready to go to. And we have to be aware of the reality of the situation, the pressure that's put on them, the situation they find themselves in. We have to be aware. And I said it way back in the offseason. When I saw them draft Malachi Starks, when I saw them draft Mike Green, when I saw them go get D-Hop, when I saw them pick up Jair Alexander, I came in front of you guys and said this: if this Ravens unit can stay upright for 17 games, they better be holding the Lombardi Trophy in February. Otherwise, it will be severe consequences. I told you guys this several months back during the offseason as training camp was approaching. I made that crystal clear. If this unit stays upright for 17 games, they better be holding the Lombardi Trophy in February. There's no excuses. So, with me putting that out there, and with the way the media has spoken about this Ravens team, and with the way the Ravens are favored in a lot of things, Lamar for MVP, favored to win the division, one of the main individuals that's favored to win the AFC and get to the Super Bowl, favored to win the championship. Everything right now is or at least in terms of how people are viewing them. The favor is all these viewings, all these expectations. It's supposed to favor the Ravens to win it all. That pressure is high, though. When you're the favorite and you don't deliver and you don't respond and you don't get it done, there's going to be a lot of criticism that's going to come with those failures. And I, as a Ravens fan, am not interested in seeing that happen. I'm not interested in that being our reality. But it's up to the players to go out there and play. I mean, they know what's on the line and they know what they need to do. If they don't get it done, that's your legacy. So yeah, I'm gonna take a look at some of these comments. I feel like I've been yapping for about 20 minutes. Yeah, I've been yapping for about 20 minutes here. Let me take a look here at some of your comments, and then we'll probably move forward and talk about some other stuff, as we get ready for Sunday night's debacle in Buffalo. What's going on, Court? Nicholas, what's going on? The Archie Manning Tank Bowl will begin tomorrow, I guess so. I said Archie, excuse me. The Arch Manning Tank Bowl will begin tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, Arch played great today. He had 5 total touchdowns. I think he had 4 passing, 1 rushing. I think he might have thrown an interception. He was great today. So that's good for Arch. Good for his confidence. What's up, Ravens Pro? Excited for Sunday night? Yeah, me too. Nitsua, what's going on, man? What's going on? Sup, my dude? As a Bengals fan, I respect you and the Ravens. More importantly, hope you enjoy, even though I'm not rooting for your team. That's why I'm trying to do this year. Enjoy football more. Dude, I'm here to enjoy football as you are. We don't know how this season's going to go for either one of our teams, so I'm just going to be here to enjoy football. Appreciate you tuning in, but I am here to enjoy football. I'm just pointing out the reality of the situation. This is my team, man. It's my team for life. I'm going to be, what's going on, Kirk? I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm just sitting here waiting for the game to start. We're less than 24 hours away. We all just waiting for the game. I'm not gonna lie. It's Saturday night. I ain't looking to do nothing on Saturday night. I ain't going out with no friends. I ain't doing nothing like that. I'm sitting here in front of this computer. It is 10:32 at night. I'm already going to do my final aspect to my final aspect. I'm gonna do my final aspect for my preparations for the Ravens games, which is me watching the 2024 highlights. I always do this. I watch the 2024 highlights of the Ravens just before the season starts because I don't go back to those highlights until next year's offseason. I don't really focus on previous highlights. I don't focus on highlights in general during the season. I like to be in the moment. I'm live streaming it there. I'm here with you guys for the games. I like to be in the moments. I save highlight watching for the offseason when the Ravens aren't playing because when there's no football on, I want to relive those memories. I go watch the highlights. So I'm gonna be watching the Ravens highlights tonight in preparation for tomorrow's games. How's everything going with 2025 so far? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question, Kirk. We're in September. This has felt like the fastest year. I've never. I feel like I'm not the only one that feels this way. This nothing happened this year. It really felt like nothing happened this year, and that we legit. My mind right now is just. It's just in 1,000 pieces right now when I have to think about that. This is a speed run. 2025 is a speed run. 1 minute is January, the other minute is September. I walked into a store the other day and I saw Halloween stuff already set up. And I was like, damn, where did the year go? I was talking with one of my homies the other day, and we were like, dude, nothing happened this summer. I'm not even joking. We said nothing happened this summer, and the summer went by fast. So I ain't even gonna lie. When you asking me how my 2025, how is everything going with 2025, I can't answer that question. Because by the time one thing starts, two other things are getting ready. By the time you feel like one thing's about to happen, next thing you know, we in September. Like, I don't even know what to say. The days are going by so fast. It's crazy. 2025 is just weird. It's so weird. What's going on, Alexander? I've been good, just waiting for this game. But yeah, I don't really have much of an answer here because I don't even know what to say. It's been so fast. It's been so fast. 2025 has been so fast. And I'm telling you, we're gonna blink. We're gonna blink once and it's gonna be mid-season. We're gonna blink twice and we're getting ready for the playoff berths and the divisional winners. And we're gonna blink again and we're gonna be in the Super Bowl. Like I don't know what to say. Time's going fast, man. It's crazy. It's really crazy to think about, man. It is crazy to think about. But hey, and I'm just glad football's back. I can finally get back to the entertaining aspect. I need some level of entertainment this year. Some level of excitement. And finally, we're going to get that here. Because really, I ain't going to lie, I'm really talking to my friends. And we just like, damn, nothing really happened this year. Oh, my God. So, yeah, that was just what I had to say about that. But, yeah, who are they sacrificing to win this Super Bowl? Well, I mean, Ravens flock already sat back and said the Ravens probably made a deal with the devil to go win the Super Bowl by drafting Mike Green. So drafting Mike Green means the Ravens are fine dancing with the devil if it means beating Kansas City and getting a ring. They try being the heroes. They try going a nice route. And I've said this. The NFL is about villains. The villains win in the NFL. You get occasional stories about the heroes triumphing, but the villains really win this. I mean, when's the last time we've seen a Super Bowl win for a team that people liked? Where it's like, oh, this is a nice team. Where people don't hate them, they don't got animosity to them, they don't view them as villains. I'm just thinking about it. Last year, Philly won. It was the battle between two villainous teams. Nobody looks at Philly as the heroes. They were just the villains that took down an even bigger villain in Kansas City. Kansas City won the year before. That was villainous. The year before that, Kansas City won. They had back-to-back championships in 2022 and 2023. And then, you know what? Maybe the Rams. I don't know. Maybe the Rams were seen as a bit heroic, but I don't think that Super Bowl between the Bengals and the Rams were really seen as villain aspects. And in 2020, Tampa Bay won over Kansas City, but because Brady was with the Bucs, everyone already looked at the Bucs as villainous as well, because Tom Brady being there made them seem as villains. And then, 2021, maybe that's one of the years. If you look at the Rams and say the Rams are more so heroic than villainous, then yeah, that's one of those years. And it was interesting having a Super Bowl where you didn't see no Tom Brady, you weren't watching the Chiefs, you had the Rams and the Bengals. It was a crazy one. That's probably the last time you looked at this and said, hey. But then again, the Rams also made a deal with the devil and sacrificed their future picks to go get that Super Bowl ring. So I guess if Cincinnati would have won, it would have seemed more heroic because they beat Kansas City to get to Super Bowl. So you know what? Nah, the Rams wouldn't be another one there because they were villains. They assembled a bunch. Yeah, you're right about that, TTBG. The Rams did assemble villains. They are definitely villainous because they sacrificed a lot to go get those pieces. They traded away future first round draft picks to go assemble that team to go win a championship. Had Cincinnati won, they would have been seen as heroes because they beat Mahomes and the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl. So now, 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, all of those are disqualified. 2019, maybe? I think 2019, you can count that. The Chiefs weren't seen as... The Chiefs did not become villains until after they won championships. And everybody hates the Niners. So the Chiefs beating the Niners in 2019, that's probably one. The Chiefs beating the Niners in 2019 is probably one of the few times where you look at it and say more so a hero won more than a villain. Because remember, prior to the Chiefs winning a Super Bowl and becoming who they were, everybody loved Mahomes. Everybody loved the Chiefs. Everybody was rooting for Kansas City to beat the Niners because everybody hates the Niners. They're villains. But once the Chiefs climbed the mountaintop and stayed there, then they became villains. So 2019 may be one of those years where it's like the hero beat the villain in some cases because people didn't hate the Chiefs that much. And then 2018, Brady won it again. 2017, the Eagles won it, but people hate the Eagles. They're also villains. 2016, the Patriots won. They beat the Falcons. If the Falcons would have won that, that would have been another moment. You see, just in sports, heroes don't win in sports. Heroes don't win in sports. I'm sorry. It's the villains. Villains win championships in sports. Heroes don't win. At least not often. How often do you get to see? We don't have a bunch of Dirk playoff runs hanging around. You don't see a lot of teams like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks. You're not watching the 2011 Dallas Mavericks every single time. That's a hero. That's a real heroic team. And Dirk's one of the greatest heroes in NBA history for beating the villainous Miami Heat. You don't have a lot of those moments in sports history. A majority of the time, villains are winning. Guess who won the NBA championship last season? Villains. The OKC Thunder. People hate SGA. They call him a free throw merchant. People don't like how the Thunder operate, these players all being close together. They call them corny. They view them as villains. They view them as villains. They view the Nuggets as villains. Or that's more so Lakers fans viewing the Nuggets as villains. But people also hate the Lakers too. So yeah, the Thunder won the championship. They were more villainous. People would have preferred if the Pacers would have won. That would have been more of a heroic one. And people were praying that the Pacers win. So legitimately, I'm just thinking, in sports, heroes don't win that often. You gotta be villainous to go win. So the Ravens, they finally learned that. They decided, hey, you know what? Let's go make a deal with the devil. Let's dance with the devil by drafting Mike Green to try to get over this hump and win a championship. If it results in a championship, hey, the deal was signed. They're fine with it. The Rams signed their deals. They signed a deal and got a chip the same year. They signed that deal with the devil and got their chip the same year. Got Matthew Stafford and everything. So if the Ravens can do that for a championship, why not, I guess? That's just how it is in sports. The heroes don't win that often. You gotta be a villain to win. Villains win in sports. So if the Ravens become villains, they can win this thing. That's why Buffalo probably never gonna win a championship. They're too heroic. They gotta bring some villains on the team. It can't be the hero Josh Allen saving us. No, y'all need some villains. You need to become more villainous. The Bills will not win a championship until they become more villainous. That's just how it is in sports. I know this because I am a fan of two teams that are villains. I was a Heat fan during the Big Three era. We were villains. We won back-to-back championships. We blew it in 2011. That's one of the rare moments you see the heroes win. But after that, we won back-to-back championships. The Warriors became villains. They were winning championships. I'm a Dodgers fan. We just won a championship last year by bringing Ohtani in and everything. Villains win in sports. The Boston Celtics won last year. They're villains as well. People hate that team. Villains win in sports. So if you can become a villain, you're going to win. You're going to win. Villains win in sports. That's what y'all need to understand. Villains win in sports. The heroes don't win. We saw this happen in 2023. The Ravens and the Lions were supposed to be the heroes. They were supposed to save us from the Niners and the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl. Our saviors were supposed to be the Ravens and Lions, and both of them got slayed. Think about that. Villains win in sports. If sports was for heroes, Detroit would have won a Super Bowl within these last 2 years. I'm being dead. Detroit in 2023, the Detroit Lions should have won the Super Bowl if it's about heroism. If we're talking about heroes, the Lions should have won the Super Bowl in 2023. That's just how it is, man. Villains win in sports. There's rare moments. There are rare moments where the heroes win. But sports is about villains. Villains win. Villains make dynasties. You gotta become a villain because everybody hates dynasties. Everybody hated the Golden State Warriors at their prime because they were a dynasty winning championships. They were villains. They got Kevin Durant. Villains. Hated them. The Bad Boy Pistons. Villains. Hated them. Hated the Bad Boy Pistons. They won 2 championships. Villains. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. Villains. The psychopath known as Michael Jordan is not a hero. And he ran that organization like a villain commander would. The way he treated those players was absolutely horrible. But they won 6 championships. So who's complaining? Villains! Kobe and Shaq. Villains! Villains! No one wanted that to work. Why do you think the 04 Pistons get a lot of praise for beating that team? They were the heroes in 04. They were responsible for breaking up Kobe and Shaq. That's a heroic moment. You don't get a lot of rare moments like that. That's a heroic moment. But prior to that, the villains three-peated. Villains. The New England Patriots. 6 championships. Villains. Villains, villains, villains. Villains run sports. You cannot be seen as a hero and expect to win consistently. Like you said, Quint, Alabama. Villains. Alabama with Nick Saban. Villains. Now there's no Nick Saban. People clowning them because the villains are now at their lowest. And they won today, by the way, too. Nobody cares. There's no one. Everyone looks at Alabama like they're soft now. They're not villains anymore. If they find a way to go win a national championship, people ain't gonna be mad like that because they not villains like that. Villains win in sports. Heroes have their moments in sports. We tried winning as heroes. Couldn't do it. The Steel Curtain Satans, the Steel Curtain Steelers, excuse me. The Steel Curtain, you know what, I would say Satans because they were on a lot of drugs. Nobody talking about that. Them boys were on cocaine in the 70s. They were all on drugs, and nobody brings that up. That Steel Curtain Steelers team, they were on cocaine. Nobody talks about that. But that's a different conversation for a different game. Yeah, villains. Villains. Steelers. Villains. The Raiders. Villains. The Raiders, especially back then. Oh my God, people hated the Raiders back then. Villains. Villains. Ohio State, they were villains last year. This is how it works in sports, man. I always try to tell you this, man. You want to win, you got to become a villain. Now, maybe you have your moment, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what will help you be remembered. If you could pull it off, it's rare. Are you going to get your Dirk moment in the finals? Are you going to get that Eli Manning 07 Giant moments against that 18-0 New England Patriots? You going to get that David Tyree play? Is it coming up? You going to have that moment? I mean, if you're going to have those moments, by all means, pull it off. But like I said, villains win. Villains usually win. The villains usually win in sports. So you want to win? You better become a villain. And the first step to becoming a villain is by adding all the damn talent you can bring to the table. Even if it means you're bringing guys with character issues. The Eagles got Jalen Carter, who got issues up the wazoo. Villains. They just want a ring. Villains. Eagles are villains. They tried early on trying to be heroes. That didn't get them nowhere. Let's go get an A.J. Brown. Let's go get Saquon Barkley. Let's draft Jalen Carter. Villains. Villains win in sports. If the Bengals win in 2021, I do think we'd be looked as heroes. I agree, Ohio. I said that earlier. If you guys would have beaten the Rams, you would be seen as heroes because you beat the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl. The 2021 Bengals would have been viewed as heroes if you would have won the Super Bowl. The Rams were villains because they sacrificed a lot of pieces and draft picks to assemble that Avengers team to go win the championship, and they did. The Rams are villains. The Bengals weren't even expected to be there. They had an amazing year. They upsetted the Chiefs. They got to the Super Bowl. If they would have pulled it off, the 2021 Bengals would have been viewed as heroes, and that would have been one of those moments I talk about in sports. Heroes have their moments in sports. They do. But sports is about the villains. If this sport was about heroes, Derrick Rose would have never got hurt. I said it. If this sport was about heroes, Derrick Rose would have never got hurt. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying, this is about villains. The heroes don't always get a happy ending. The heroes don't always get their moments. Pacers would have won this year if sports was more about heroes as opposed to villains. Heroes don't always get the moments. It's about villains. But I said it, man. I said it. If sports were about the heroes, Derrick Rose never gets hurt, and the Chicago Bulls find a way to win the championship with D Rose. If sports was about heroes, the Falcons don't lose in 2016. They don't blow a 25-point lead. If sports was about heroes, the Falcons they handle the Patriots and win that Super Bowl so ATL can celebrate. No, villains. It's about villains. The world of sports is about villains. Though, I can't lie, it is pretty damn sweet when you're a hero and you win as a hero. You get remembered for that, man. You get heavily remembered for that. But when it comes to sports, man, it's a villain's game. Sports is about villains. It's about villains. What's going on, Loyalty Houston? It is about villains. Let me look at some of these comments because I've been going on a tyrant for the last 10 minutes about villains. Let's see here. I can hear Kelsey crying to the refs. How dare you hit me? Man, ain't nobody worried about Travis Kelsey. He just wants to bait people and cause flags because he can do so. He's already at the end of his career. He's arguably the greatest tight end to ever play. He's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's just trying to have one last ride before he calls it quits and marries Taylor Swift or something. I don't know. What's going on, Daniel? Even bigger than 2023? Yes, we weren't, dude. We weren't viewed. Heading into 2023, there was no pressure for us to go win the Super Bowl. There were questions about whether or not Lamar Jackson is still able to play at that high level. And there were questions as to whether or not Lamar Jackson could play in the offensive system other than Greg Roman's. We knew he could. The media wasn't buying it. So, yeah. It wasn't until we did what we did in 2023 that, people finally looked at us and say, all right, the pressure's on to go win. But starting the year, no, the pressure wasn't even on like that. And I can argue in 2024, the pressure was somewhat on, but not majorly on. The pressure was on to go win in Kansas City week 1, but it wasn't on for them to be the Super Bowl pick. Because again, like I said, in previous years, people weren't picking the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Even though we lost in the AFC Championship game the previous year, people were still picking Buffalo. A lot of people were still picking Buffalo. Now, this year, everyone is just jumping on the Ravens. Go look at all the pundits. Everyone keep picking the Ravens to win the damn Super Bowl. So many people's Super Bowl picks are Ravens, Eagles, Ravens, Eagles, Ravens, Eagles. Some have Ravens, Eagles. Some have Ravens, Packers. But the Ravens is the common denominator. You'll still have a few individuals here and there that got Kansas City and Buffalo, but a majority of the people are picking the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl and win. That's never been the case in franchise history. Yet here we stand right now with that. Worst case scenario, if for some reason the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, that's not happening, but we'll play the scenario. If that was to happen, the pressure for the Ravens to win the Super Bowl would be astronomical. The same thing would be for the Bills. The pressure to win for the Ravens would be incredibly high. But the same would be said for the Bills because everyone would be like, your one obstacle to get to Super Bowl is gone now. The only team you haven't been able to beat is Kansas City. They're gone. So Buffalo would also feel the pressure as well. I feel like their reputation is on the line, especially if you lose to the Chiefs to get in the playoffs. Yeah, like I said, their reputation is on the line if they lose again in the postseason. With the way pundits are talking about us this year, they got to go get it done. Little to no injuries and a sacrifice or two, they should be good to go. The weight is killing me. Come on, Sunday Night Football. We almost there, bro. It's 10:54, man. Once Sunday hits, man, go to sleep for like 12 hours and wake. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. I got to be up in the morning. But, is what it is. Ravens win, but it'll be tight. Josh Allen's going to have to take over, depending on a they do. Depending on a very deplete. Oh, he has to take over. A depleted wide receiver core. That's what you're trying to say. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's gonna have to do a lot, but I don't see how he's gonna be able to keep up. Like I said, I point this out to everybody. The Ravens. Everyone knows that the Ravens beat themselves in that playoff game, but people got to give credit to the Buffalo Bills for doing the only thing they could do defensively. The Bills' defense can't stop us. No matter what Bills fans want to tell you, whatever delusional world they want to live in, head to head, the Bills' defense cannot stop the Ravens' offense. They can't slow them down. There's only one thing they can do: create turnovers. They're not going to stop us and force us to punt a lot. There will not be a lot of punt. The Ravens will not be punting a lot. I'm telling you this right now. Tomorrow, the Ravens will not be punting a lot. Now, will we see some turnovers? Possible. Because one thing that Bills defense is great at is creating turnovers, which is why I said that plays to the favor of Buffalo. Buffalo can't stop the Ravens offense from moving the ball. But if they can take away the ball and give extra possession to Josh Allen, that works in their favor. I've said it a million times, I'll say it again. Baltimore had 8 offensive possessions in that playoff game against the Bills. Technically 9, but one of them was a kneel down before halftime. They had 8 offensive possessions. 5 of the 8 offensive possessions went for 25 points. The other 3 offensive possessions, interception, fumble, fumble. 2 of those 3 turnovers happened in Bills territory, meaning they could not stop us from moving the ball. We just turned the ball over multiple times, and that's what cost us. So again, Ravens should win, but, they should honestly handle them and win by double digits. But if they make this a close game, it's up to them, bro. I just want to be happy tomorrow, man, but you gave me an idea going to do the same and watch the Bengals highlights. Yeah, I'm doing that tonight. I'm watching the Ravens highlights tonight, the Ravens 2024 highlights. I do this just before the year starts, and I did that last year, which was really, oh boy, it was really painful. Watching the Ravens 2023 highlights before that opening night game against Kansas City was painful. I can't lie to you guys. That AFC Championship game, I've seen it a few times. I can't watch it past the Zay Flowers touchdown. Bro, I be watching those highlights. I be watching those highlights. Then I see it flip to the Kansas City game. I watch Lamar Jackson throw that touchdown to Zay Flowers, and I said, that's enough for me. Let me click off of this. I can watch the Bills game. I can watch that fine from beginning to end. We didn't play bad in that game. It's just we turned the ball over. I've watched that 2-point conversion over and over again, and it just sticks in the back of my head like, how did Mark Andrews not catch that? But I can watch that game. I cannot watch the 2023 AFC Championship game. I watched Lamar scramble around, throw that deep ball to Zay Flowers. We celebrating because we tied a game. I turn it off afterwards because I know what happens. I don't want to see none of that. I'm not trying to see a lot of frustrating drives end because we can't move the ball. I ain't trying to see none of that. I don't need to see Zay Flowers catch a deep ball just to taunt a dude and get a penalty. Then he fumbles the ball. I don't need to see none of that. I don't need to see the Ravens frantically scrambling down the field because they're sensing they're about to lose this game. And then Lamar throws it to triple coverage because he sees pass interference. And instead of high pointing the ball so it can be incomplete, he throws it straight on, picked off. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that. I lived it. I don't need to see that. So when I watched when I was watching the 2023 highlights heading into the Kansas City game in 2024, I clicked off as soon as Zay Flowers caught that touchdown. I did not watch that. But it was really tough watching those highlights and then going to watch week 1 in Kansas City, man, because we ultimately ended up losing. I hope that's not the case this year, you know. Thinking about it now, let's see. 2019 win, 2020 win, 2021 loss, 2022 win, 2023 win. So let's see. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We are 4-2. In the Lamar Jackson era, we are 4-2 on our record's 4-2 on opening night. So hopefully we make it 5-2. But yeah, I gotta watch all these highlights tonight. Ah, boy. But let's see. We're gonna blink and see a Jaden Lamar Super Bowl. I promise you. Can I make that deal with Jerry Jones? No, can I make that deal that Jerry Jones made? When Jerry Jones spoke to God and said, if you let me get this third Super Bowl, I'll never ask for anything again as a fan. Can I make that deal? Can I make that deal to get a Jaden Lamar Super Bowl? Because I can make that deal, and technically they could both get the Super Bowl, just not against each other. Can I please get that can I please get that deal? I want to make a deal with the man above. If you let me get a Ravens Commanders Super Bowl, I'll never ask for anything else as a sports fan. That's all I want. Can I get that deal? Let me sign the papers like Jerry Jones did, because he signed that deal 30 years ago, and this Cowboys ain't won since. Now, I'm signing a deal to just make, I want to be clear, I'm signing the deal for a Ravens Commanders Super Bowl. I ain't never said that they can't win again. That's up to you. I'm not going to ask you to have them win. Ultimately, it'll be up to them. I'm just saying, look, one time, let me watch Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson go at it in the Super Bowl. Let me just get that. Let me just get a Lamar Jaden Super Bowl. That's all I'm asking for. Can I sign that deal, please? Let me get that deal. I'll sign the paperwork right now if you give me that deal. Two days of football, and then week 1 will be in the books. Yes. It's been a crazy 2 days of football, man. These games have been crazy. It's going to be a snowball effect after the first primetime game, fast and steady. Yep. Watch out for Green Bay. I have Green Bay winning the division, and they have an opportunity. I have them winning the division over the Lions, and they have an opportunity to solidify themselves early on, or at least make a statement early on, because they have the Lions. Packers are at home. They have the Lions tomorrow, so we'll see what happens with that game. The last hero was the Saints. The Saints were not heroes, my guy. Bounty Gate, man. Bounty Gate. They were not heroes. They were not heroes. I'm sorry. Once they got caught for Bounty Gate, we wanted to. They initially had the title. The Saints were initially viewed as heroes. But once we heard Bounty Gate, we knew, nah, bro, you got to take that title away. You can't be heroes doing that. I've seen a lot of brutal games in my lifetime. I've been one to sit back and say the 2015 AFC Championship game was the most brutal game I think I've seen Tom Brady ever play. They went out there and tried to hurt that man. The amount of hits he took in that game was crazy. The 2009 NFC Championship game between the Saints and the Vikings. That was one of the most brutal games I've ever seen. They actively, finding out about Bounty Gate basically solidified what we saw on the field. They were trying to seriously hurt Brett Favre. And you could tell by how they were hitting this dude. They were actively targeting him the entire game. Brett Favre's the toughest. He's the toughest quarterback to ever play this game, because, I mean, I don't even know how he survived all those games, man. With those type of hits. Jeez. But, yeah, he took all those hits like a champ. Even though they were targeting him and trying to get him out the game, he stayed in the game. Just in time to throw the ball over the middle of the field and get picked off. Vikings fans, I don't know what it's going to take for you guys to get it done. I'm dead serious, bro. I don't know. Why did Brett Favre throw that pass? Why do quarterbacks keep doing this, dog? You know you should never throw across the field. Why are you throwing across your body to the middle of the field? You're just asking to be picked off. Why did he throw that pass? Why did he throw that pass? Oh my God, Brett Favre. Oh, why did he throw that pass? Oh, Vikings fans, I don't even know what to tell you, bro. Jeez. Why did he throw that pass? Every time I'm watching, it's like he's just rolling to his right, throws across his body to the middle of the field. You just know he's going to get picked off. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Sorry, bro. I don't know why Brett Favre threw that pass. That was the end of Brett Favre, man. He was done after that. You knew. He was done after that. Yeah, Kobe and Shaq were villains. Ohio State definitely were villains last year. As a Cavs fan, LeBron was the savior of Ohio sports, and we lost 3 or 4 to the villains. Yeah, you did. You did. Absolutely did. 2016 Cavs would also be seen as heroes, I guess, because, well, actually, I don't even know if I could really. I don't know how much people looked at that Cavs team as heroes. Then again, I feel like you can view them as heroes because LeBron went back to Cleveland to deliver on his promise. So it was a run of redemption. So I feel like that should count. How long have you been a Ravens fan? I have been a Ravens fan since 2004. I actually have a couple jerseys that are hanging. I can't pull them up. Can I? See, let me see. Let me see if I can angle this here because I got my green screen now, so I can just move the camera. In fact, let me just move the camera towards the side. If you could see it right here, I got some other posters. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I still got my Jimmy Butler jersey. I don't care. That Jimmy Butler jersey staying here. Okay, so yeah, I have. Let me go walk to it. Yeah. So I became a fan in 2004. I got like 2 classic Ravens jerseys hanging here. This is an old Deion Sanders jersey for when back when he was playing with us briefly. I also have like a Willis McGahee jersey as well. So I got Willis McGahee and I got Deion Sanders hanging on my wall. So I've been a fan of this team since 2004. I grew up watching both Washington and Baltimore, so I've been watching both those teams. But ultimately, when I got that jersey way back then, I just became a fan of the Ravens, and that's just how it's been since. I still show love and support to the Commanders, though, so that's just how it is for that. But so technically, I have like 2 teams, I guess, in that case. But I show more love to the Ravens than I do the Commanders. But I show a lot of support and love to the Commanders as well, just because I'm from the DMV area. It's a whole thing. I think I've explained it like 15 times on this channel. I feel like I should make a video about it. Or maybe I did make a video about it. I don't remember. Wouldn't call the Lions heroes. They were bullies. They would have been viewed as heroes. Beating the Niners, they would have been viewed as heroes. And beating the Chiefs, they would have been viewed as heroes. I think Allen runs much more than in the past to beat us. Um, hmm. In the divisional round, yeah, I mean, Allen couldn't really move the ball consistently in the air against our secondary. I mean, it's not like he could target Brandon Stevens every single time. I mean, he probably could have, but Ravens actually did pretty well in the secondary as a whole. It's just Brandon Stevens gave up the dumb play on 3rd down. I don't think anyone's ever going to forgive Brandon Stevens for that. You go back and look at it. We score on the opening drive. It's 7-0 Ravens. We score on the opening drive. Baltimore has them in a 3rd-and-long situation. If Brandon Stevens does his job and doesn't let the receiver streak wide open in the middle of the field, we make that stop. It's a 3-and-out. Baltimore forces the punt, and our offense gets the ball back with a chance to go up 14-0. I feel like that would have completely changed the game if we would have had the opportunity to make that stop there and potentially go up 2 scores. Instead, Brandon Stevens does what Brandon Stevens does, lets people run right past him, doesn't turn around, doesn't locate the ball, 1st down. And that's all she wrote. But yeah, Allen didn't really try to test our secondary. I mean, he tried that the first time in Baltimore, and it didn't really work out. So he and the Bills went more of a conservative route and said, let's run this ball. And no one gives them credit. No one speaks about this. We got manhandled in that playoff game. We couldn't stop the run. The Bills' offensive line was so dominant in that game, they stopped our front seven. We couldn't get any pressure on Josh Allen, and we couldn't stop these guys. Their offensive line was rock solid, and we couldn't get to Allen. We couldn't stop the run. He was running on us. Cook was running on us. We couldn't stop anything. Our front seven, our run defense couldn't even compare with these guys. That offensive line was a brick wall in that playoff game. Shout out to those boys for protecting Josh Allen because they gave us nothing to work with. And they were able to run the football on us because we could not deal with that offensive line that was just pushing back on us. So yeah, you are correct. Allen did run a lot more than in the past to beat us because that offensive line, they stood tall and they made sure we could not do anything to touch Josh Allen in that game. And I mean, we still got to him a few times, but it's just that offensive line was rock solid, and they really locked in to make sure they established the run game. That Bills team ran all over us in that game. That's crazy. Ah. But yeah, it is what it is. Can the Ravens match what they did in 2019 as long as they can stay healthy? I hope they don't match what they did in 2019 because we got the number one seed and lost. I hope they go beyond that and go win the whole thing. I hope we surpass 2019 and 2023 and actually finish this year and win the Super Bowl. I would love another 14-win season in the number one seed, but we got to go finish. We can't just go one and done like 2019, and we can't lose in the AFC Championship game like 2023. We got to go the distance. I am glad the Chargers beat the Chiefs last night. I was here streaming that. It was pretty fun. Oh, I remember when I couldn't watch the 2012 season because of the pain. Oh, you talking about 2011, the AFC Championship game? Yeah, that was tough. It's my first time watching you live. Normally, I watch a repeat of your podcast. Hey, man, welcome. Well, tune in tomorrow, Justin. We're going to be here around 8:30 for the Sunday night football game between the Bills and the Ravens. So we'll be here for that tomorrow. I'm going to stream that game for the most part. So feel free to pull up. We just going to chill out, talk about the Ravens, and go through the emotions as the season starts for Baltimore. If you give me a Burrow versus Daniels Super Bowl, I don't want to see that at all. Why the hell would I want to see Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl? I'm good. I don't want to see the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Now, Jane Daniels in the Super Bowl, yes. Joe Burrow, no. I remember Brett Favre's concussion. That was brutal. All the hits he took finally caught up at that point. I've seen Lamar do it a bunch of times and it's worked a lot. I mean, it's worked out. I'm not saying that it's never worked out to throw across your body, but as a quarterback, you're always taught you shouldn't try to do that because it's dangerous. It doesn't mean you can't make the play and convert it. Brett Favre has thrown across his body many times and has launched for bombs. But Brett Favre has also done that many times and got picked off. You know, it's a risk that you take. It's a risk that you take. You throw across your body, you're risking the ball getting picked off. Doesn't mean you can't make the completion. It's just a huge risk. And in that moment, in that situation, Brett Favre shouldn't have made that pass. Throw the ball away. You were in field goal range. Throw the ball away. Don't go try to make a play out of nothing. Throw the ball away. We back again, keeping it real. Ravens Nation, good to see you back. Hey, man, it's good to be back. It is good to be back. Glad we sent Stevens packing. He's the Jets' problem now, you know. Maybe he'll look good. I don't know. I mean, they're not going to test him a lot. They're going to test him a lot. You know, they're not going to throw towards the other side. They're going to test him a lot. So, hopefully he steps up to the plate. Good luck, Jets. I'm sorry, with Harb still coaching, this year feels like the same old. Dude, I've already said this a while back. I'm leaving it to the players who play on the field to go make the play. Lamar, this is his legacy that's being affected. And when you have all this talent on the team, at some point, you got to win in spite of your coach. Many people sat back, said the 2012 Ravens won because of the players and them coming together. So people sit back and say that we won in spite of Harbaugh in 2012. At some point, the players are on the field. Go play and get it done. Okay? So I'm not trying to... I mean, it could be the same old with coaching. At the end of the day, Lamar in the offense, go get it done when you're out there. Ravens defense, Roquan, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton, you guys know what you need to do. Go get it done on the field. You can win in spite of your coach. Some people say the Eagles won in spite of Nick Sirianni. Take it how you will. At the end of the day, the players play. You're on the field. Go make plays and win. I can see us going 15-2 with a first round bye and win it all. I would love for that to be the case. I could see a potential situation like that, but I don't know if this Ravens team is different from previous Ravens teams. They're gonna have to prove it to me. Their test will be against Buffalo tomorrow. Buffalo, Kansas City, Pittsburgh will be their 3-man test. That's it. Everybody else I know they can beat, but Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City, that's their 3 tests. They'll have 2 games with Pittsburgh. We'll see how they fare. Matter of fact, they answered the call when Pittsburgh came to Baltimore. They got 3 games that's going to determine how I should view the 2025 Ravens. Tomorrow in Buffalo against the Bills. Week 4 in Kansas City against the Chiefs. I don't remember when our matchup in Heinz Field against or in Pittsburgh against the Steelers is going to be. Either way, those 3 games. The Pittsburgh game on the road, the Buffalo Bills, and the Kansas City Chiefs. These 3 games is going to dictate to me what I should hope to see from the 2025 Ravens. Because everything else on their schedule, I know they can win those games. We all know they can win those games. Lions, they can win that. We saw them blow the Lions out in 2023. We saw them beat the Rams head-to-head in 2023. We know they can win those games. Lions, Rams, Packers, Vikings, they can win those games. Texans, the Texans get smoked. But CJ Stroud has not thrown a single passing touchdown against our team in 3 games, and they've gotten blown out in each one of those games. I know they can beat the Texans. I know they can beat the Rams. I know they can beat the Lions. I need to see what they do against Buffalo on Sunday night. I need to see what they do against Kansas City at Kansas City in week 4. I need to know what this team can do against the Pittsburgh Steelers at Pittsburgh. Those are the 3 games I'm focused on to try to determine what the 2025 Ravens are going to be. That and paying attention to the trap games. They keep losing to Cleveland and Cleveland for some random reason, so pay attention to that. Or not even Cleveland. They keep losing random games to Cleveland that they shouldn't lose. Pay attention to that. And then just follow wherever. Wait a minute. I completely forgot. No. He's with the Chiefs. That counts as 2. Nope, gotta look at it now. That counts as 2 impacts because Gardner Minshew's on the Kansas City Chiefs. And for some reason, that dude just being near the Ravens makes us do dumb things. So that's 2 now. That Kansas City game counts for 2 tests for me. How do you fare against Patrick Mahomes? And how do you fare when Gardner Minshew's on the other side? Because y'all see Gardner Minshew and y'all forget how to play defense. I'm going to be really watching now. I'm going to be watching, man. We got Pittsburgh on the road at the end of the year. That's a perfect way to check this out. That's a perfect way to see if this is the same old Ravens or a different team. We finna find out. I think our defense is the key this season. We got to make stops and get turnovers. It's a mental game as well as physical. Break the confidence. It's over. We'll see what happens. Lamar owns the Texans. Dude, the Ravens own the Texans. I think we're 11-2 against the Texans all time. We own the Texans. We beaten them in the regular season. We beaten them in the playoffs. Bro, we own the Texans. It don't matter who the hell the quarterback is. We've owned the Texans. Yes, Jair is playing. He's practiced. He practiced on Tuesday, practiced on Wednesday, practiced on Thursday. The injury report came out. Both him and Daniel Falele were basically cleared. They're good to go. They're playing on Sunday. So, yes, Jair will be playing, but I don't know how much he's going to be playing. So, we'll just have to see. Undefeated season time? That's crazy. Don't see an undefeated season time. Jerry Jones lives a long time to ruin the Cowboys. I mean, he's already ruined the Cowboys. Heard Jair hasn't played. No, he's practiced all summer. He's practiced all summer. What happened is he hadn't practiced since August 9th. So from August 9th until last week. So for the last month, he hadn't practiced. But he's been practicing. He practiced for a good chunk of training camp. It's just once we got to August 9th, he left practice and then did not return all the way until September 3rd, September 4th, whenever you want to say. So, yeah, He hadn't practiced for the last month, but he practiced early on in training camp. From like July, when they got back in July, all the way to August 9th, Jair was on the field practicing. So he didn't miss the entire training camp. He was out there. He was also part of the stadium practice. It's just the last month he's been out with the knee. They've been working on that, some soreness in the knee. They were dealing with that. He's good to go. He'll be playing on Sunday night. Your live popped on my feed. I'm a Bengals fan. I hope the Bills whoop you. Hey, man, it's the same thing rivalry-wise. I'm looking forward to watching Myles Garrett put the smackdown on your team. Because for some reason, y'all seem to struggle against the Cleveland Browns. You figured something out last year because you beat them. So maybe you keep that up. I'm just saying, if that Browns defense has returned to form, y'all in trouble. If you get the 2024 Browns defense, Burrow's going to smoke that. If y'all get the 2023 defense, when you had the defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett, that was terrorizing people, you get that Browns defense, good luck, Cincinnati. Oh, Myles Garrett gonna bring hell tomorrow. Woo! I need Joe Flacco to do me a huge favor. Okay, Joe Flacco, long time. We love you in Baltimore, man. I need you to do me a favor here, man. Put the smackdown on Cincinnati, okay? Like you did when you... Okay, you weren't really... We had games when we beat Cincinnati. I'm not gonna lie, Flacco against Cincinnati... Flacco against Cincinnati hasn't exactly been the prettiest. I mean, he's had some great games against them, but Cincinnati kind of... I could pull up some of the games. I don't really want to speak about it, but Flacco against Cincinnati... Not fun. But yeah, Flacco, go do your thing, man. I hope Flacco smokes that pathetic excuse of a defense, and I hope Myles Garrett just terrorizes Joe Burrow the entire game. So, hey, we'll see what happens. It should be fun. If Lamar beats the Bears and Packers this season, he will beat all 31 teams other than the Ravens. That would be true. That he would definitely complete that and beating all 31 other teams other than the Ravens, which I hope he never completes that because I don't want to see Lamar beating all 32 teams. I hope he's here for life. I agree with you on one thing. If the Chiefs go 0-3 and beat the Ravens and the Bills, you might as well punch their ticket to the Super Bowl. I don't know how those aspects correlate in entirely in the aspect because I don't see them starting 0-3. I mean, even if they beat the Ravens and the Bills, I don't know what type of record they're going to have starting 0-3. I couldn't see that happening. I really couldn't see the Chiefs starting 0-3 and then all of a sudden they're just going to go on this tear. Because if they're starting 0-3, they lost to the Chargers, who's in their division. I got to take a look at the Chiefs' record in order for them to start 0-3. Because you're forgetting they got to take on the guys in their division. So punching their ticket to the Super Bowl in an AFC West where they're already behind because they lost to the Chargers is not the good thing. I got to see who the Chiefs are playing. They play Philadelphia next week. So if they lose next week to Philadelphia, that's 0-2. Who do they have in week 3? Because you're saying 0-3. They've got the Chiefs. Dude, no, they can't do that. Oh, wait, never mind. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. They got the... Dude. There's no way they're losing to the Giants. Be serious. You better say 0-2. You better say 0-2. Look, be serious. let's be serious now. Let's be serious. We don't need to do this. 0-3. I can see them losing to the Eagles next week. They're not losing to the Giants. Let's be real. Let's be real, bro. They're not losing to the Giants. I'm not even going to entertain this. They're not losing to the Giants. We don't need to play this game. Okay? 0-2, if you want to say I agree with you, one thing, if the Chiefs go 0-2 and beat the Ravens and Bills, you might as well punch your ticket. We can make that the debate and discussion there. That's fine. 0-3, come on. They're not losing to the Giants, man. We're not doing this here. They're not losing to the Giants. With their season potential, if you go 0-3, you're probably going to miss the playoffs. With their season potentially on the line, I'm supposed to believe they're going to go lose to the Giants. And that's a primetime game, too. That's a primetime... No, stop. We're not playing these games. Stop. They're not losing to the Giants. Stop. We ain't doing none of that. Falele is the only player I'm actually worried about. Everyone's worried about Falele, but we'll see. I'm trusting Monken though. Yeah, we'll see how things go. I hope the Jets beat the Steelers. Me too. I really hope Justin Fields gets revenge. I hope Justin Fields get revenge on his former team that decided to bench him for Russell Wilson. We ain't doing that, man. We ain't doing that. So go get your revenge, Justin Fields. You wanted Russell Wilson even though I had the team at 4-2? All right, bro. Cool. You didn't want to make me the guy? Cool. Watch what I do with the Jets. You want decrepit Aaron Rodgers? You get decrepit 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Go take him. Go take him. Go see how that works out for you. If I'm Justin Fields, I'm saying that right now. Go see how that works out for you. NFL set them up real good. Yeah, Giants D-line is very nice. It is nice, but they're not losing to the Giants. I don't care what D-line they got. They're not losing to the Giants. Bills, Ravens, this is going to be a great game. I want to see the Ravens lose. Yeah, well, I mean, I expect the Ravens to win. I ain't trying to see that. I know you need it. Honestly, a perfect scenario for you would be Cincinnati winning, going 1-0 in the division, and then Baltimore going 0-1 to start the season. That's perfect for you. My perfect scenario is Cleveland winning that, going 1-0, and then we smack them next week in week 2. We beat the Bills, then we beat the Browns. We're 2-0 and 1-0 in the AFC North. We'll be first place. Because we just need you to be 1-1, because you'll probably win in week 2. We just need you to lose week 1. Yeah, we play y'all Thanksgiving. Yeah, y'all finna lose that one. Ooh, y'all finna lose that one. Y'all don't do well in Baltimore. No, it's not. Y'all do well in Baltimore. Y'all just don't win when y'all come here. Y'all do not win when y'all come here. Hey, wait, though. I'll give y'all credit. Joe Burrow's one and only win against Lamar Jackson did happen in Baltimore. So you know what? Maybe you do got a chance to win this one. But we're going to see, man. We really finna see. If this defense is legit, if the Ravens defense is back to form, the Bengals are cooked. Because your defense can't stop a nosebleed. If our defense slows you down, you're done. But again, we finna see. We finna see if this defense is for real. If the Ravens defense ain't for real, expect this to be a shootout just like last year. If the Ravens defense is for real, oh, y'all are cooked. Y'all are cooked. I ain't even got to pretend. Y'all are cooked if this defense is for real. I could see the Chiefs beat the Giants with Russell Wilson before we face them in Arrowhead, and the Ravens are going to smash the Chiefs to make them 1-3. I thought about that possibility. I really thought about that possibility because I once I saw them lose last night and saw they have Philadelphia next week, the possibility of Baltimore heading into Kansas City, with Kansas City being under 500, is surprisingly high. And if that ends up being the case, we have to win that game. We dropped them to 1-3, and we're 3-0 at that point. We got some real good conversations right there. Jackson Dart might be the sleeper rookie quarterback this season like Stroud and Daniels. Can't really say that because Stroud and Daniels started from week 1. Jackson Dart's not expected to start. And unless Russell Wilson gets hurt or things go to hell and their season's done, Jackson Dart's not seeing the field. So I can't say he's a sleeper rookie like Stroud and Daniels. Jaden Daniels started week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He started his first game as a rookie against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1 last year. CJ Stroud 2 years ago started in Baltimore against the Ravens. They were starters. So you got a better chance with Cam Ward fitting that than Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's not expected to see the field this year. And if he is, it won't be to start week 1 because Russell Wilson, that's his team until he either A, gets hurt, or B, doesn't come close to bringing a successful year. The year's already over. They say, let's put the rookie in and see what happens. I thought he was starting. No, Jackson Dart is not starting. Russell Wilson is the starter. That is the guy they're going with. Jackson Dart is their rookie quarterback, but they brought in Russell Wilson to be their starter for a reason. They did not bring in Russell Wilson to be a backup. Russell Wilson will be starting week 1 against the Commanders. We'll see him there tomorrow. Well, I'll see him there tomorrow. Which game do you consider a trap game in your schedule? For the Ravens, which game do I consider a trap game for the Ravens? Let me take a look at the schedule for the Ravens. What do I see as a trap game? Other than the Cleveland Browns, what do I see as a trap game? Let's see. Got Buffalo. Well, first of all, I guess we're going up against playoff teams to start the season. So let's take a look. Let's get rid of that. Okay, look at this. Bills, Browns, Lions, Chiefs, Texans, Rams, then bye week. Chicago, Miami, Minnesota, the Jets. All right, there it is. Trap game, Jets. Jets, yeah, Jets. That's a trap game. Jets, the New York Jets. We have no reason to lose to the Jets. Better yet, I'll say Jets and Patriots. There's no reason we should lose to the Jets. There's no reason we should lose to the Patriots. Those are my trap games for the Ravens this year. The Jets and the Patriots. And I believe both of those games are on the road. Or I think one of them's on the road in New England. Yeah, the Patriots. We play the Patriots in New England. I'm leaning more towards the Jets being a trap game because the Jets actually come to Baltimore. So yeah, the Jets is a trap game because they come to Baltimore. They may be the 2024 Colts for us. So yeah. Oh no, we play the Patriots in Baltimore too. Okay, you know what? The Jets and the Patriots, those are my trap games this year for the Ravens. I could see them losing those for no reason. Cam Ward or Jackson Dart, who do you think will have a better season? Jackson Dart's not starting, so I would have to assume Cam Ward. If Jackson Dart has a better season than Cam Ward, then that means Cam Ward was a disaster this year. Ravens going 13-0 into Thanksgiving would be... Ravens going 13-0 in Thanksgiving would actually be great. It would be great. Have we never lost a... I would have to check that. I need the Chiefs to at least start 0-2. We all need them to start 0-2. Jamar Chase always cooks our defense no matter who we have. That's not necessarily the case. I'm not saying Jamar Chase don't cook, but this idea that Jamar Chase does what he did against our defense last year is not the case. Every time y'all I'm telling you, Jamar Chase done so much damage that y'all just automatically assumed Jamar Chase has been like that every single time he's faced the Ravens. I've been at that. I've watched Jamar Chase play live. We know what he's capable of. But I watched that defense shut Jamar Chase down, or at least slow him down for being a top receiver. Let me read you Jamar Chase's stats against the Ravens, minus the 2 games last year, because obviously the 2 games last year, 10 catches, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 catches, 264, 3 touchdowns. Let me read you Jamar Chase's stats from top to bottom. You will notice that Jamar Chase has some moments where he goes off against us, but I'm going to give you the aspect that's really interesting here. So I want to let you know his stats, and then I'm going to give you the context here. Jamar Chase, first ever game against the Ravens, 8 catches, 200 yards, 1 touchdown. His second ever game against the Baltimore Ravens, 7 catches, 125 yards. Do you know when those 2 games happened? Do you know when Jamar Chase's first 2 games happened? I just need to know. When did Jamar Chase, Lamar Chase. Jeez, what's wrong with me? But yeah, those stats that I read for you, the stats that I just read for Jamar Chase, 8 catches, 200 yards and a touchdown. 7 catches, 125 yards. Those are his stats for his first 2 games against the Ravens defense. Do you know when that happened? The stats that I just read for Jamar Chase, those were his first 2 ever performances against the Ravens defense. When did those games happen? Very simple. Those first 2 games happened in 2021. Those first 2 games, when I read those stats, 2021 is when Jamar Chase had those stats. 2021, half our defense was on IR. Let me read you Jamar Chase's stats in 2022. Jamar Chase played us once during the regular season, 7 catches, 50 yards, no touchdown. That's what he did against our defense in the regular season. Gotta give the boy credit, though. In the playoff game, wasn't spectacular, but he did show up when he needed to. 8 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. That was the 2022 season. He put up that 86-yard, 1 touchdown performance in the wild card round against us. So in the wild card round, that's his stats. In the regular season, 7 catches, 50 yards. That's what he did in 2022. In 2023, he played 2 games against Baltimore in 2023. 5 catches, 31 yards, no touchdowns. In the second game, 2 catches, 12 yards, and a touchdown. I know we want to sit back and talk about Ja'Marr Chase and his aspect of cooking the Ravens defense, which he has. You cannot deny it. But if you've watched when Ja'Marr Chase has cooked our defense, it is when we've been at our absolute worst. His best stats against our defense happened when we were at our worst. His first 2 ever performances where he balled out against the Ravens defense, half the team was on IR. The performances he had last year, you know who he got that on? Brandon Stevens, Eddie Jackson, Marcus Williams. None of those guys are on this team this year. You know who we have instead? Jair Alexander, Malachi Starks, Chidobe Awuzie. Ja'Marr Chase is that guy. No doubt he's that guy. It's Ja'Marr Chase. It's Justin Jefferson. Take your pick for who's the best receiver in the game. But this belief that Ja'Marr Chase just smokes our defense every time he sees us, it's not exactly true. He has smoked our defense, but his best stats have come when we have been at our worst. When we have been at our best defensively, 2023. In 2023, when we were at our best defensively, Ja'Marr Chase in 2 games had a total of 43 yards and a touchdown. 2023. When the Ravens defense is at their best, that's the numbers Jair Alexander put up. Not Jair, that's the numbers Ja'Marr Chase put up. When we are at our best defensively, that's what Ja'Marr Chase put up. When we are at our worst defensively, you've seen what he does. So this should tell you this right now. Ja'Marr Chase's performance should ultimately tell you where the defense is going to be this year for the Ravens. If they shut him down like 2023, we are going to be monsters. If they let him kill him and cook him like he did last year, that defense is going to be nasty in the worst possible way. So that should be a good indication. But yeah, Ja'Marr Chase, he's played, 8 games against us, and 4 of those 8 games he has gone over 100 yards. Funny enough, the 4 times he's gone over 100 yards was his first 2 games against us when half our defense was on IR. Not even half the team was on IR, and we had no defense in 2021. That was the year everybody was hurt. So that's the 2 times he cooked our defense with nobody out there, which we did point out. Bengals fans didn't care at the time. And then the other 2 times he's gone over 100 yards was last year. Prior to that, he had 4 games, including the playoff game, where he did not approach 100 yards receiving. So again, this is your indication for what this defense is going to be. If Ja'Marr Chase goes off against this secondary, we're not where we need to be. If this secondary shuts down Ja'Marr Chase, we ready. We ready for primetime. That defense is going to be lethal. If they shut him down like they did in 2023, we ain't got nothing to worry about. If Ja'Marr Chase is going off, we got some conversations. That's just how it is. So we about to find out. When Ja'Marr Chase cooked us, we had Brandon Stevens, Marcus Williams, and Eddie Jackson out there. Eddie Jackson and Marcus Williams, they gone. We cut them. Brandon Stevens, we let him walk in the free agency. He's with the Jets now. You got Jair Alexander. You got Chidobe Awuzie. You got Malachi Starks. So let's see how it works this time around against Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins. I can't even lie though. I've been thinking right now. Like, I'm not even looking at this game in terms of like how that matchup is gonna be. However, the Ravens want to go about it is however the Ravens want to go about it. But dog, we play the Vikings this year, so I'm trying to think right now. I got two games I'm looking at right now where I'm trying to look at the matchup corner wise. Guys, we're gonna talk about this. When do we play the Vikings? We play the Vikings what week? Um, let's see. One, two, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We play the Vikings week 10. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna debate this. Are we putting Jair Alexander on Justin Jefferson? I'm just asking these questions right now. We're gonna talk about week 10 is so far ahead. We ain't gotta worry about this. But when we play the Vikings, we play the Vikings week 9. I'm pretty sure we're playing week 10 because we have a bye week 6. Our bye week is week 6. So we play the Vikings week 10. So yeah, we're going to have this conversation week 10. Are we putting Jair on Justin Jefferson? I'm just saying. Like, are we doing that? Because you're going to have to deal with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So that means, and we know we're going to play Humphrey in the slot. Unless they want to play him outside because they trust that. Nate Wiggins, you're going to put Nate Wiggins on Jordan Addison. Are we going to put Jair on Justin Jefferson? Because I just need to know. That's going to be Justin Jefferson. He's going to bring us problems. So I'm just asking, do we put Jair? Like, we don't like to move our defense around. They're going to be motioning Justin Jefferson throughout the field. Do we put Jair on Justin Jefferson and have Jair walk wherever? He's going to motion with Justin Jefferson. Are we going to do that, or are we going to stand tall? Are we going to stand tall? Because I'm just saying, it's that dude, if anybody has had experience covering that man one-on-one, it's got to be him. So when we play the Vikings week 10, I don't need to see Nate Wiggins near that guy. Nate Wiggins, go have fun with Jordan Addison. I do not, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be disgusted. I mean, best of luck, do what you can. But if I see Justin Jefferson being covered by Nate Wiggins, I'm going to be heated. Y'all going to have to roam with the defense, bro. Jair got to follow Justin Jefferson the entire game. Okay? This is personal. So that's my first thing. I just wanted to ask that. My second thing is this, though, because I don't know what the answer to the question is. We got to face off against the Rams as well. I think we take on the Rams week 6? We got the Rams week 6 before our bye week. My question to you guys is this. Who is going to cover Devontae Adams and who's going to cover Puka Nacua? I'm having troubles figuring this out. I don't know if I fully feel comfortable sitting here and saying, oh, I got to put Jair on Devontae Adams. You know, they got that history. You know, he's played when Devontae was still in the division with actually, they're former teammates, you know. He played together with them when they were both with the Packers. So, you know, he has experience. Well, going up against them in practice, but like, what am I going to do, bro? What am I going to do with this? How is Marlon Humphrey fared against Devontae Adams? Because last year when we played the Raiders, all they did was stick Devontae Adams on Brandon Stevens, and that's how we lost the game. I'm trying to figure this out. Who you trust covering DK Metcalf? I'll take Marlon Humphrey on DK Metcalf. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Marlo's actually done a pretty good job on DK Metcalf. So I trust that. But again, we don't have to worry about DK Metcalf. It's because they're going to, even if you want to say we don't have to do one-on-one, they could double team him. Who's their second receiver? They don't got a legit wide receiver too in Pittsburgh. So I'm not worried about whoever's out there. But the Rams, we got to deal with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. So I'm trying to figure this out. Who's going to be on Devontae Adams? Because like with DK Metcalf, I'm putting Marlo on him. Marlo's going to be on DK, that's fine. And if you don't want to do that, we can double team. We got guys back in the secondary. They only got one good receiver. But with the Rams, you're dealing with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Who's going to be on who? We can't double both of them. I'm just saying. So who's going to be the matchup? Oh, my God. I got to think, man. Wiggins on... Dude, I don't know if I want to trust that. You want to put Wiggins on Devontae Adams. I thought about that. I was like, okay, Jair ain't going to have the size to really match up with Devontae Adams, so he's probably going to be more towards Puka Nacua. But do I fully trust putting Nate Wiggins on Devontae Adams? Am I fully comfortable with that? You know, I'm not gonna lie, man. This is where I need to see Zachary Orr. The creativity got to come there, man. Dog, can we play Nate in the slot? Can we play Nate in the slot? Can we play Nate Wiggins in the slot? How do you guys think Nate Wiggins will do as a slot corner? Because I swear to God, I, I cannot put Nate Wiggins on Devontae Adams. Marlo gonna have to come out the slot and handle that assignment. I'm dead serious, bro. Marlo gonna have to be on Devontae Adams, bro. Nate Wiggins may have to play the slot this week. I'm not even gonna lie. I need them to be able to mix and match things in the defense. Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks are going to be back to help in protection, so we know those two are going to be in the backfield helping out. But when you're going to get a lot of those one-on-one matchups, I feel somewhat comfortable saying Jair on Puka is probably the way to go. But dog, it's got to be Marlon Humphrey. It's got to be Marlon Humphrey, dog. I may have to play Nate Wiggins in the slot, and I'm going to get extra protection in the back with both Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton. So I feel comfortable getting that extra blanket of protection. But dog, I think I might want to move Nate Wiggins to the slot that week. Against the Rams, I may have to move Marlon outside. We don't play him outside that much, but in those type of matchups, I want Marlon Humphrey on Devontae Adams, and I'll take Jair on Puka Nacua. I'm not saying Nate Wiggins can't do it, but like that's Devontae Adams, bro. The size, man, it's just I'm gonna need someone a little bit more physical in that aspect. I'm gonna have to put Marlon Humphrey, bro. Marlon Humphrey gonna have to see Devontae Adams, and we got to live with that. We have to play Nate Wiggins in the slot or something. Oh man, that's a tough one, bro. I think Marlon Humphrey got to play. Like I'm looking at this. Jair can we'll see how that matchup goes between Jair and Puka Nacua, but I got to go Marlon Humphrey on Devontae Adams. We got to move Nate Wiggins to the slot that week. He'll play slot corner. He'll be working inside, but I have to move Marlon Humphrey outside to go deal with Devontae Adams because when you got two explosive weapons like that, it's tough to deal with. Like Marlon Humphrey is more physical as a corner. He can match up with somebody like Devontae Adams. Marlon Humphrey, we've seen him to match up well against someone like an AJ Brown. So I think Devontae Adams is the guy you're gonna have to put him up with. So I would have Marlo on Devontae Adams. I'll have Jair Alexander on Puka Nacua. I have both Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton in the backfield as my safeties with the extra blanket of protection, and I'll see how we fare with that. I don't know how well Nate Wiggins will look in the slot, but I may have to play him as a slot corner this week. The good news is you have two guys that are flexible. The Ravens defense is so fun to talk about, bro. The Ravens defense the flexibility and the versatility in that secondary because you can move Kyle Hamilton anywhere. You can move Kyle Hamilton anywhere, and Malachi Starks. You can play him back there in the safety, but you could also move him up in the nickel spot too. So you've got versatilities with your safeties. So I feel like we've got answers for any potential matchup we're gonna see. That's why I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, we've got answers for that. We've got answers for that. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, we have answers for that. We may have to switch up how the matchup is gonna be defensively, but we got answers for that. Minnesota Vikings, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. We have answers for that. You know, we've got a lot of answers because of the flexibility and versatility of our secondary. Oh boy, I hope these guys can stay upright. If they stay upright, the versatility in this secondary will be able to match up with any wide receiver duo we see. Any wide receiver duo. Oh my goodness. We don't have to worry about Cooper Kupp because he's with the Seahawks. Exactly. That's why we ain't got to worry. If they had Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Devontae Adams, it would have been trouble. We still would be able to handle it. It's just now you're looking at this thing. Cooper Kupp's going to have to be covered by Nate Wiggins in the slot. So we'd still have an answer, but man, I'd be cutting it short. You got three top receivers covered. Oh, man. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to be right back. Let me go get some water and stuff. Oh boy. Yeah, man. Oh boy. We are we are set a lot in the defensive side, man. This should be a fun season to see how the Ravens are going to mix and match things defensively. When we face the Rams, we better pray that pass rush can body Stafford and not expect a shootout, potentially. But that's where the secondary got to showcase what they can do. They got to showcase what they can do, man. Yeah, the Ravens have a lot of tests. Let me look at this right now, because you got to face off against Jamar Chase and T Higgins twice. You got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. You've got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Who else are we really testing out in terms of wide receiver duos? I think that may be it. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, let me check something here. I wanna see for how is he? Is he gonna play? Let me see. Um, let's see. Let's see. He should be fine. Okay. Let me see about. Hmm. Yeah. No. Never mind. Not looking at this for the most part. No. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to check that. Hmm. Honestly, when I'm looking at this, I think that may be it. I think that may actually be it in terms of wide receiver duos. Jamar Chase and T Higgins twice. Uh, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, and then Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. If we were facing off against the Cowboys, you would sit back and say George Pickens and C.D. Lamb. Yeah, I mean, no. Wait, forgot. We played the Dolphins. So Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So yeah, that's another wide receiver duo. Wow, the Ravens really facing off against a bunch of wide receiver duos this year. This is crazy. So you've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins that you'll face off against twice. Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, who you'll take on when it comes to the Vikings. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. And then Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You're going up against 4 wide receiver duos. This secondary is going to be tested out this year. We got to see how they respond. This secondary is definitely getting tested out this year. But we will have to see for the most part. Hey, perfect timing for this. Guys, breaking news. I love when I have breaking news during the stream. Wide receiver Jameson Williams for the Detroit Lions has agreed to a 3-year deal worth up to $83 million. So the Lions are giving their wide receiver Jameson Williams an extension. He gets a 3-year extension. That works for them. Good to get that done before the season starts. So yeah, there's your breaking news. Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams agrees to a 3-year contract extension with the Lions. They got that done just before the season started. So that's good for them because they gonna need him out there tomorrow against the Packers. That's good for him. At least he got paid. Aye, so good for Jameson because the games will be getting very very physical today or tomorrow. I knew this was gonna happen when I started the stream. I sat back and said, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be a simple, quick stream." And the next thing you know, we're here for 2 hours because that's just how it works anytime I stream. And we just get off. We start with one topic and then we start answering questions and then we start spamming off in multiple directions to just talk about a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, we are getting ready to wrap things up here today on this stream. Sunday night football is on the way. Sunday football is on the way too. We got some great matchups here. I did give my predictions out during the Eagles and Cowboys game, so I don't really feel that I need to do that again. But I could speak about that briefly because we have some great matchups this week. Yeah, I also gave out my predictions for the season. And I gave out some award predictions about who's going to win MVP and all this other stuff. Man, where the heck is my... Oh, okay. So, let's see. Nope. I have my week 1 picks somewhere. I'm more so looking for the games that are being played. God, I got a bunch of papers here. Wow. What is this? Yeah, you want to keep this here. Good Lord me. All these papers. Wow. Please do not be at the very end of this list. Nope. Nope. I have this written down, but I just can't seem to find it right now. Unless I put it here. Nah. It is what it is. Anyway, we got some good matchups here tomorrow. The Sunday games should be fun. In terms of the 1 o'clock games, let's get on it. 1 o'clock games for week 1 of the NFL season. The NFL cooked with this, man. You had great primetime games between the Cowboys and the Eagles. It was entertaining, so that was great to see. 1 p.m. games. We've got the Dolphins taking on the Colts in Indianapolis. We've got the Steelers taking on the Jets in New York. We got the Panthers taking on the Jaguars in Jacksonville. We got the Cardinals taking on the Saints in New Orleans. We got the Giants taking on the Commanders in Washington, obviously. Got the Buccaneers taking on the Falcons in Atlanta. The Bengals taking on the Browns in Cleveland. Raiders taking on the Patriots in New England. That ends it right there. Raiders taking on the Patriots in New England. Those are the 1 p.m. games. In terms of the 4 p.m. games, we've got the Niners taking on the Seahawks in Seattle, Titans taking on the Broncos in Denver, Lions taking on the Packers in Green Bay, Texans taking on the Rams in LA. And then Sunday night game, Ravens taking on the Bills in Buffalo, and then Monday night, Vikings taking on the Bears in Chicago. So if I count this right, let me check. Week 1, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. 8 games. 8 divisional games in week 1. Half of the games in week 1 are divisional games. So right off the bat, teams in the division get to take an early lead. You know what sucks as a Ravens fan? Week 1, we're going to be second in the AFC North if we win on Sunday. Because at the end of the day, if Cincinnati wins, they take first place in the AFC North. If Cleveland wins, they take first place in the AFC North. Let's hope Cleveland wins. I'm perfectly fine with the Cleveland Browns being first place in the AFC North because I know they won't maintain first place. We'll come take first place week 2. Perfect scenario, Cleveland wins week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals. We beat the Buffalo Bills, and the next week we handle the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I just saw it, Brandon. I read it out about 2 minutes ago. I just recently read it out in the stream that Williams just got paid a 3-year extension worth up to $83 million by the Detroit Lions. So that's good for Williams. Congrats to him. That's great. They got that done just before games kicked off. So that's good on him. But yeah, we got 8 divisional games tomorrow. We got 8 divisional games. and it should be fun. And as I say that, we have officially hit 12 o'clock. As my mic also chooses to fall down. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, today is football. It is officially reached Sunday. It is game day. It is officially game day. It's officially game day. Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially game day. So with that being said, I am going to end things here. I'm going to end things here. I want to thank you guys for tuning into this stream tonight. We did it for nearly 2 hours, man. Crazy. But I want you guys to go get some rest because today, it's going to be a long day. A long day of football, and everyone should be rested to prepare for this. Get ready for Sunday Night Football. I'll be here for it. It should be a fun one. I want to let you guys go. Everyone go get some sleep, relax, rest. With that being said, guys, I'm going to see you tomorrow. It's time for football. Ravens, Bills, Sunday Night Football. We'll be here. Until then, guys, I'll see you later. Good night to everybody. Be sure to stay safe. And peace.